Welcome to Read, Watch, Play. We're here for bonus episode number 5, and plot twist, 2 bonus episodes in a row are on the same show, the one and only Severance, which is not an adaptation at all, but Randy's never made a rule I didn't want to break, so here we are. Randy, you want to hit him with the socials and the recap?
Yeah. Please follow us on Instagram at Rewatch Play Podcast. You can also email us, especially if you're getting the theories of what's going on in the show at rewatchplaypod@gmail.com. The reason we're doing this episode is because we just need to talk to somebody about this show. And if you need to talk to us, we will be that ear to listen. I'm so excited to be here at Lumen Industries to talk about episodes 6 and 7, Attila and Chikhai Bardo. Is that how I say it? I don't know. But I am ready to step into the elevator and head to the severed floor if you are, Nick.
Let's do it.
Nick H., what's for dinner?
Randy B., good to see you. Are you allergic to the elevator? Your eyes are red.
Yeah, I don't know. I just keep waking up and I have to podcast all day, every day. And
What a life.
Yeah, I'm my butt's a little sore from sitting in this chair, even though I got a standing desk and I do not utilize that feature. Yeah, Miss Casey told me that my Audi likes to sit, so I've been trying to make them happy and sit the whole time.
Yeah, Miss Casey told me my Audi is obsessed with seals. I don't know.
Yeah, that you really want to slap your stomach. So maybe give that a
And be
try
fed
right
sushi.
here.
Yeah.
Your Audi also, I heard, loves the Shining movie, and I heard that your Audi really wants to sit down and have dinner with Stanley Kubrick, even though he's dead.
That's so funny because I heard that your Audi loves Argyle and that we're going to cover that once a year from here on out.
Yeah. I also heard that my Indy and Audi are both obsessed with Twilight right now. And let me tell you, I am ecstatic about it. All right, let's get on to actually talking about Severance here. We're doing episode 6 and 7, Attila and Chikhai Bardo. So these were the season 2 episodes that premiered in the past 2 weeks. In episode 6, this is the one, I kind of call it the episode ends with Sunshine of Your Love, and it's when we have a lot of conflicting love and connection going on across our cast here. Irving, I think, is the big thing in the episode. Is he's heading to have dinner with Bert and Fields. Dylan, is informing Mark and Helly about his discovery of Irving's instructions. Mark confesses to Helly about them having, I forget what he calls it. He doesn't call it sex. What does he say that we have? He like says it really funny. It's like in House of the Dragon when they call it coupling. He's like, we have done something. I forget what it was. Dylan has another visit from his Audi's wife. We just got a lot going on the relationship front across the severed floor. And then episode 7, I'm just going to tee it up as this is the Gemma Miss Casey episode, and we're going to have a lot to talk about there. So, Nick, how did you feel about these 2 episodes of Severance?
Just when I thought it couldn't get any better, episode 7 came out, the Gemma episode. I think, yeah, episode 6, Bert might not be who we think he is. Helena/Helly R might be pregnant with Mark Scout/Mark S's baby. Milchek is visibly struggling internally with what to do. And then episode 7, we get a lot of the backstory of Mark and Gemma, as well as where Gemma or some iteration of Gemma is below the severed floor. And what she's going through. We see all these doors with different room names that we've seen, the file names for, and one of them is Cold Harbor, and they acknowledge that. And that, I am so confused, but so excited at the same time to see what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I really liked episode 6. Like it was just a good episode of Severance. I really appreciated that we did not dwell on the Mark and Helly sleeping situation, and Mark just ripped the Band-Aid off, and that wasn't something that was like drug out over episodes and episodes, and he kind of took the leverage that Milchick had over him and just completely wiped that away from Milchick.
Yeah.
So I really love that. I also just got to say, I realized when I was editing our last episode on Severance that I keep calling her Helena, and that is due to My Chemical Romance love. When her name is
And
Helena,
Helena.
I was listening to it, and you kept calling her Helena, and I just keep calling her Helena, and I just can't not do it.
I thought you were going to pick up on that when I kept like
Nope,
saying it differently.
nope, it's Helena. But anyway, I really enjoy these dynamics, and I think I'm just so invested in the Irving storyline that episode 6 was sad and partially illuminating, and I loved all that. And then, yeah, like you said, episode 7 comes along and just steamrolls me as an all-timer episode of television, and was devastating and perplexing in a good way, and just left me feeling so lost and just truly sad for Mark and Gemma. And I am excited to talk about what we think is going on there. But it has been, we did awards last episode on Severance. This episode 7 for me, right off the bat, takes the cake for the season for me right now.
Yeah.
And is only second to maybe the finale from season 1 in terms of my favorite episodes of Severance. It was just so good.
And that's our show.
Yep, and that's it.
What else you got to say? Yeah.
I mean, we really got into theories last time, and I know we're going to be itching to jump to 7 in Cold Harbor, but we'll start with 6 because that is where this began. And I want to talk about this Bert and Irv dinner, and what do we think is truly going on with Bert in this show? I mean, I have questions running through my head of, is Bert even severed? You know, was Bert's real job at Lumen? You know, he was there for 20 years, I think. Like, what is going on with this Bert Fields Irving dynamic? What do you think?
I think that Bert is in deeper with Lumen than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the illuminating that the severed procedure has been going on longer than 12 years
Yeah.
was huge. And I can't wait to learn more about that. I feel sad for Irv, but I'm also really interested to see where his storyline goes, because was that whole dinner set up so that they could break into his house and look at all the information he has and make sure he's not getting too far down the rabbit hole of, I don't know, who's he calling on the phone? Because I thought it was Bert.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It is, I mean, I guess that means my theory of it being the other woman in O&D that he is talking to is still alive and kicking.
It is.
I've seen a lot of great stuff on the Bert and Irv, because initially when I watched this, I was just like, man, they got Irv here. Like, they got him out of the house, pulled one over his eyes. Drummond was there. And then I was reading, you know, I was on my theory bullshit, and I'm on Reddit, and I'm talking to my people. And there's some thought that Irv willingly walked into this dinner with Bert and Fields, knowing that there is a risk of them searching his house while he is out. That Audi Irv, I mean, they've set him up as kind of some sort of military spy person in a previous life, that he's a little bit smarter than this. And people are thinking this because, one, his cat, which I can't remember the name of, which my fiance might dump me for forgetting the cat's name, was missing from the apartment. And a lot of the actual critical documents that we had seen in season 1 weren't there. And all the things he was working on weren't there. And that people are thinking that Irv let them see what he wanted them to see, and gave
I
them
love that.
something to know, that because he knows that they know he's working on this now. So he couldn't completely erase everything. That would throw them too much suspicion. So he had to leave them some things to see. And that he knew that this was all going on. And maybe I'm just hoping that because I love Irv.
I love that theory. I hadn't heard that before, and I
Yeah.
really hope you're right.
Yeah, because I mean, I was so sad watching this episode where I was like, everything's falling apart for Irv. But
How
I
do
don't
we know
know.
that those documents weren't there?
I think because what we saw in I think that was the finale episode of season 1 when we saw inside Bert's sort of like army chest
Mhm.
and a lot of his paintings and stuff of and diagrams of the severed floor and area. Because I think Drummond was only looking through those sort of lists and notes. I think of like, were they like people's names and like disappearances? I'm trying to remember what was exactly on that piece of paper. This was like 2 weeks ago now.
Well, I guess my question is, how do we know it's missing and not just wasn't shown?
It's true. It's true. We don't. Is this a case of theorists grasping at straws? It's possible. It's
Could
possible I
be.
am. Um, I don't know. I don't know where I'm thinking they're going with Bert. There's a part of me that wants to really believe that him and Irv had a true, genuine connection, and there's a part of me that still feels that, and I'm hoping that Bert was severed. But I'm wondering if I don't know. I realistically, it seems like Bert is not a severed person.
I just feel like there is a pretty strong contrast between Bert in the severed floor and Bert on the outside.
Yeah,
And I don't know that I'm buying it. That he was never severed.
yeah, yeah. I'd agree. I There even seemed to be, I mean, and maybe it's just the magnetism of Christopher Walken, and John Turturro, but even in the dinner scene and all of that, there seemed to be this visible chemistry pulsating through the air between them, that made and makes feels jealous. And I'm just also wondering, like, what has Bert done in his life that even this whole religious angle kind of got, stewed up here of they were seeing severing Bert as an option for him to get to heaven,
Which is
and
crazy.
which is crazy. I don't know if I love that angle to all of this, but I do like this idea of wondering what has Bert done, and was this stuff he's done at Lumen as a worker there that
Mhm.
he feels that he is not worthy of going to heaven, and maybe that leads him to become severed.
It might not even be what he's done at Lumen.
Yeah, just in life.
It kinda made me feel like it was just life, not
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know where they're gonna go with any of this Irv stuff. Are you still as sad as you said you were about seeing more Audi, or sorry, Innie Dillon and his Audi wife stuff? You were
yeah.
very concerned
Oh
with
my
that.
god, yeah. It it makes me so sad. It also makes me so sad to see Dylan's Audi, to be honest, and 'cause Dylan's innie is like a he's gonna go after what he wants, he's gonna say how he feels, and
Yeah,
then his Audi is very recluse, seemingly lazy. There's
yeah,
definitely some tension between him and his wife, and now she's seeing his innie, and then not telling him anymore that she's seeing his innie.
yeah.
It's That's really weird for me.
Yeah. My optimistic lens is like maybe Dylan will reintegrate at some point and his wife will get the best parts of Audi and Innie Dillon.
I don't know.
The two butterflies and rainbows for the show.
But then he would have the memory of her telling his innie, "I love you," and I don't know how that would play out.
I mean, I think that's a little, you can hand wave that because it's like, oh, he's the same person.
Is he?
I mean,
It's kinda the
To Audi Dillon, I don't, he would assume so, maybe.
I don't know.
To the Innie, not so much. Um, Yeah, that was tough. I mean, like I said, this whole episode was like they played, like I said in the credits, "Sunshine of Your Love," and I think it's about people being blinded by those that they're kind of lusting or loving right now. And you could make that connection to Irv walked into a trap because of his attraction to Bert, Helly and Mark, running off together and kind of not pursuing Mark's true goals here because he's, connecting with Helly. Um, we had that scene of, I'm just going to keep calling her Helena, in the restaurant
Helena.
where not real life, Audi Helena goes to see Mark while he's eating, and they have that conversation. And they were calling it the heat scene of this movie, where it's like these two characters that haven't met yet meet and have a meal together, like De Niro and Pacino.
Don't ever disrespect Heat like that.
That was a great scene, though. I love that.
In Heat or in
Both.
this one?
I
Yeah,
loved
it
it in the
was.
show. Yeah. I mean, the playfulness of Helena, who's like trying to act like, she's the leader of this company, but also still is kind of like digging on Mark S. or Mark Scout, I guess, here. And Mark not really knowing what the hell is going on and why the president of this company is talking to him, but also playing along with it a little bit. I thought it was great.
Dude, the duality of him thinking that she might be onto his reintegration and her lusting for him / potentially being pregnant with his child.
Yeah.
Makes that dynamic wild.
Yeah.
That
There's a lot
scene
going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes me like, I'm just wondering what things Helena is doing that are sanctioned and what are not sanctioned by the board here and how she's
Getting
operating.
pregnant is probably not sanctioned.
Probably not. There's a lot going on here.
Wait. So jump to episode 7. Bear with me for a sec. Jump to episode 7. The doctor tells Gemma that Mark has moved on. He's with somebody else and has a daughter.
Yeah.
Is he going to have a daughter with Heliar / Helena / Helena?
I mean,
Is that what was going on there? Is that?
I mean, that would lead into some of the time travel theories that are out there of, they know in a future timeline, Mark has a daughter with Helena. I've also seen people think that Gemma and Mark have an unknown child in Lumen. Maybe it's Miss Huang, people think.
Dude, that would be wild.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right, but
no, Miss Huang seems too old to be
their child.
I thought she was like
Gemma
12.
would have only died like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's only been like 5 years or something.
Died.
Okay, Gemma, whatever happened to Gemma only happened like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think to wrap up episode 6 so we can get on to 7, which I know we just want to talk about here. I thought Mark or Adam Scott was the absolute just crushed in this episode. Like he was the standout for me in episode 6. Just everything with the scenes with Helly and Helena, his reintegration scenes and, with Ragabi in his basement, just everything going on in the Mark world. I thought he had a real stellar performance in that episode. It's time to talk about Gemma.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Well, Milchick, we got to give Milchick a shout out real quick because he is clearly struggling, especially after that performance review with, internally his emotions. He exerts that little bit of power over Miss Wong. I think Milchick had an amazing episode in episode 6. Grow. That was scary.
Yeah. Scary.
That was scary.
Yeah, that is the thing where it's like we talked about, is Milchick going to have a heel turn here or a face turn, whatever the right way to say it is. That little bit there made me think he is moving even harder into the Lumen side as opposed to our vagabond rebel side.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that he's doubling down on being a company man, but we'll see. Um, yeah, I mean, episode 7, we get our first flashbacks of Mark and Gemma's early relationships and their dynamic and their also connection with Devin and Rickon. And we see the state, that their relationship starts to head to, as Mark, even prior to her death, was starting to become a little bit, checked out and depressed. And they had the traumatic incidents of her miscarriage, and their relationship was not in a great state as they were trying to have children, pre Gemma, air quotes, death. And, then we see everything after that of what she's been experiencing down in the basement of Lumen. And it was tragic and sad. And all this is being intercut with these, Devin, nursing Mark back to health as he's going through this reintegration and having these flood of memories. So this episode was crazy.
Yeah, and then you take a deeper look and you learn that it was a Lumen fertility clinic and that they were receiving those cards that, Dylan stole one of earlier.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering, was Gemma selected? Right?
Yeah.
Was this not an accident? I don't man,
Yeah.
I have so many questions. And there's only 3 more episodes?
8, 9, 10.
And then we're going to have to wait 16 more years for
Yeah,
season 3.
probably. Yeah, I mean, the big thing we talked about in our last episode was, I think we got further along in the two of our big discussion points we had, which is, what is the pre-existing relationship or connection between Lumen, Gemma, and Mark?
Mm-hmm.
And even you can throw Miss Cobell into that dynamic. And what is Cold Harbor? 2 things we spent a lot of time on discussing. I do not know if Gemma sought out Lumen and had an existing relationship there. If Lumen is like culty and she's been sees them as a path to having a child and is, testing that out, or maybe even they think she's a candidate to sever memories and she wants to sever the miscarriage memory. There's a lot going on, and we know that there's something happening between her relationship to Lumen, and we just don't know what that is yet. I think she was somehow abducted or, sold a bill of goods that was not real in terms of like a cult type of thing. But
Yeah, that's very fair.
I don't think she went to Lumen willingly into this basement, through a fake death. But it's hard to know. Like, I don't know, in that scene where she says she's going out to the charades night, like, do you think Gemma knew she was never coming home that night?
Ooh, I hadn't considered that thought.
Yeah.
My thought is I hope not,
Yeah.
but maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. I think I have some suspicions that she did know she wasn't coming home, but I don't think in the fashion that it took in the show, in terms of
So you thought she was going to go do something quick,
maybe type of procedure. But I don't know. She's taking a big risk that Mark really hates charades and is not going to want to go. But I don't know. My best theory as to what is going on with Gemma here in terms of these memories, and this isn't, mine alone, is that it feels like they are testing, is there any level of trauma that a person cannot have severed from their memories? And I say that because we see her in all these different rooms with multiple innies, and she's doing things that are mild annoyances, from writing thank you cards at Christmas to going to the dentist to a ramp up of more traumatic things like a plane crash. So are they ramping up the level of trauma and seeing, can they continue to sever this, or is something so deep innately felt that they can erase that. That is kind of what I'm thinking. And maybe Cold Harbor is this final, test. And maybe that is something to do with the miscarriage. Maybe that is something there that they're wondering, is this too far that we can't erase that memory? Like, it's just so deeply ingrained in a person. And I imagine whatever Cold Harbor is going to be a complete mindfuck.
The other theory with that,
Yeah.
because that's a good one, I do like that, is that Gemma is going to be the vessel to bring back Kier.
Yeah.
Maybe birth Kier, because they use the word siring.
Yeah.
It's the new world, you're siring, and that is typically something with childbirth. So I think Cold Harbor has something to do with bringing Kier back to life somehow.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, if you just think about the two words there, you could think about cold as in, infertile. I don't know how you pronounce it. Like her in her Audi form, she has been unable to have children. Like, there's something there. And then harbor means you're shielding, you could be growing something, you could be harboring this, secret, or this person, or this thing. So maybe this person who has been unable to have children as an Audi is going to be the vessel to harbor Kier back into the world. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Cold Harbor is perplexing. Also, what the hell is going on with people watching MDR in this basement level that like weirdly looks also like our MDR people.
It's micro data refinement.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I feel so sad for Gemma, and the scene of like her breaking out and then running into Milchick and getting sent back down is just so sad. I mean, and it adds even a deeper level of sadment to that season 1 where she's walking back down that dark hallway. We didn't know where she was going at that time, knowing that this is like what she's been doing. Yeah, it's just brutal. I mean, it makes complete sense that this episode was filmed by the cinematographer or directed by the cinematographer, because
It's beautiful.
cooked in every form. I mean, just unbelievable. It felt like it was in line with the show, but just ramped it up to just a whole new level.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah.
It was, they shot it on film, so it had that grainy look, and it was just wonderful.
Yeah.
Like
all the
cinematography.
transitions.
Yes.
Yeah. And what I love about the show, what they do with the filmography, is just like the analog nature of it, like the focus on that type of tech that they even use in this show. It's just like a lot of buttons clicking and turning, and just like the attention to detail and all that stuff is so great. Do you have any change in feelings of where we're heading this season?
I have no idea where we're going from here. Like I was thinking about it. I've watched theory videos, and I'm just flabbergasted.
Yeah.
I need episode 8 to kind of get my sense of direction back.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know. My only complaint with episode 7 is it felt very out of character for Devin to call Miss Cobell to me, because of what happened with her abducting her baby. Like, why is Devin's instinct to call this woman? I can understand from she's panicking at this moment.
And she's the only other Lumen
And she's the
employee
only
she knows.
only person that she knows that could have any insight as to what's happening with Mark. But and I was also like, she was screaming at Ragabi to stop and leave, and then Ragabi starts to leave, and then she gets upset about it. It just felt very out of character for Devin for me. But I mean, I think we were spot on in terms of like where this season is driving towards is going to be the reveal of like, what's this Gemma, Miss Casey dynamic, and what is Cold Harbor? And I think we're going to get answers to that this season.
I don't know if we're gonna get Cold Harbor.
I think we'll get in. I think we'll go inside Cold Harbor. I don't know if we'll understand it yet.
I think my way too early prediction is that the last shot of this season will be Mark going down the elevator. We'll hear the ping, but we won't know if he is severed, if
Yeah.
it worked or not. Like he'll go through the next couple episodes with the severance procedure. He'll go down the elevator, and we'll don't know if it's Mark S or Mark Scout that comes out at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. What is your prediction for what we open next episode with?
I think we're gonna go back to our macro data refinement.
Gangs
Team.
back together.
Yeah,
I think
it's gonna be their innies. I don't think it's gonna be their outies to start, just to open the scene.
Yeah.
Show. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're gonna go with Cobell. I think she was launched up in episode 7 through the Devon call. That I think we're gonna get maybe a start of a flashback cold open with
opening shot
Cobell's
with Cobell.
history.
Okay. I like it.
I'm also just thinking from the title sequence where there's Miss Cobell with the book face looking down on all the marks crawling around. I think we're gonna understand a little bit more about what is Cobell's relationship to Lumen and why was she watching over Mark living next to him. So that's where I think we're going. We'll see. Yeah. Episode 7, 10 out of 10 for me. Episode 6 was good, but 7 just killed it. Any final things you got to get off?
Yeah. Can we get Gemma on SmackDown? Taking a chair to that guy's head?
Yeah. That was a shot.
I did not expect that to happen. My mouth dropped when that happened. I did not think that was coming.
Yeah. I just doesn't feel like they're heading anywhere good with it. Helena stuff. But I was so excited when she was, or not Helena, Gemma. I was so excited when she was trying to escape. I mean, I knew she wasn't going to, but I was still disappointed when she got caught. God damn it, Milchick.
And the way that just broke her.
Yeah. It's so sad. I don't even know how to feel with, because I really love Mark and Helly together, but you have to want Gemma and Mark to reunite. That was our other one prediction, is that real Gemma and Mark Scout will come face to face in the finale. And I still think there's some possibilities of that.
That would be cool.
Or
that could be the other last scene.
Yeah.
Them seeing each other.
I mean, the elevator could ding, could open and Gemma standing there, but we don't know. Is it Mark S? Is it Mark Scout? Are they all one at this point? Who knows? Who's to say? Who's to say?
That's a good one.
Yeah. You got anything else?
Nothing.
Yeah. Love it. I can't wait for the next episode.
Same.
Yeah, we'll be back. I think we'll record one next week after this upcoming episode, and we'll put out another next Monday too. So if you're liking this and you want to say anything about it, check us out on Instagram. Write into us. We'll be here for the rest of Severance Season 2.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Thanks, everyone.